You know, I always get the question, why do I use my hands a lot on videos? I get comments all the time, people send me tweets, everything. Some a little more constructive than others. However, I have answered this question in short a few times over the years, but I never have felt like I've really answered the question for you guys. So now, on the 7th anniversary of my channel, I'm going to answer that question for you guys here and now. To really answer that, we need to go back in time a little bit in the community. We're going to go back to around 2008, where people tend to say the Wooden Railway community started. Back then, the community featured several users playing on the ground with their trains on the carpet. And that's how they made videos. They just got out the family video camera, sat down on the floor, played with their trains, and made up a story, and uploaded it to YouTube. And that's what YouTube videos used to be. And over time, those kids got older, and they developed. And as they got older, they learned more things. They learned how to edit. They learned how to get higher quality videos. They learned things such as, using string and developing sets and making your own models. And they took their craft to a whole new level. So as these users matured, their craft matured alongside them to what we have today, where we have Wooden Railway being used in videos at such a level different to that of over 10 years ago. I mean, wow, this community is really old when you think about it, but that's not just the end of it. I mean, when you go into further detail, the whole idea of heightening the craft of Wooden Railway is really trying to make Wooden Railway look alive, and really make it look like an actual engine, and really make it look realistic as possible, by adding realistic elements like scenery, bushes, sky background, set design, model buildings, in-scale figurines, all those kinds of things to really improve the Wooden Railway look. Now let's go back to 2014 to see where my story fits in. So I started 2014 a lot like a lot of those users did back in 2008. An amateur YouTuber didn't really know what he was doing, sat down on the floor with his iPhone and played with his trains and told a story. Back then, my videos were filmed vertically, on the floor with a layout, and I just told the story and made it up in my mind. There were no scripts, there was no nothing. As I got older though, I decided to change my channel. Some things I did want to change, some things were kind of thrust upon me. I went from building layouts to making sets. I went from using my iPhone vertically to horizontally to actually owning a camera. And I went to really starting to edit my videos more. Over the years, even adding things such as sound effects and music. And now I've reached the point now where I do all of this, but one thing has stayed the same, and that's my use of my hands. And that hasn't changed really because I don't want to change. See, I like the way Wooden Railway looks. And if you've ever looked at the early yearbooks back in the early 2000s, the backgrounds they had, you had these beautiful sets that were on set tables, but you could clearly see that they were Wooden Railway, and they didn't try to hide it. It looked like Wooden Railway. The first thing you saw on screen was the Wooden Railway, and that always amazed me. And the big difference I see between things I do and other users do is when you use string and stuff like that, it tends to hide the fact that it is Wooden Railway that you're using, even if it's a set on the floor or whatnot. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm very appreciative for those who still do that. However, for my personal aesthetic, I want Wooden Railway to stick out the most. I want you to know that you're watching somebody making a Wooden Railway video. I want you to feel that, and I want your mind to kind of go back to that of a child when you used to play with your trains. Just more in an advanced world. Because let's be honest, when you played on the floor, you didn't see the floor and in your bookcase and your TV and video game consoles in the background. You saw the island of Sodor, and I want those feelings to come back. I want Wooden Railway to be the main focus of a shot. I don't want you guys to ever forget that you're looking at Wooden Railway, that something is so well defined that it's not Wooden Railway anymore, and that's why I use my hands. It's a craft that I've grown to like, and I think it really influences my aesthetic of taking you back as a kid, looking at those yearbooks and playing on train tables and layouts on the ground. It's a way of combining the old with the new, and I find the best way to do that is to upgrade other areas but continue to use my hands. And frankly, I don't have a problem with it. I don't believe there's a right way to make a Wooden Railway video. I don't think you should use string. or you should use your hands. I think you should do whatever you want to do. And I want to use my hands because I like the way it looks on screen. I like the way string looks, but I don't like it when I use it. Personally, I'm going to stick with my hands till the end of time, really. And if you guys don't like that, I mean, that's fine. Each their own. But you can also watch those on other channels. Hand pushing, as we so eloquently call it in the community, is a dying art. There's only a few YouTubers that still use it. And they still use it in more modern ways. Guys like Thomas Wooden Railway, Arsdale Productions, Milk Tanker Media still use their hands pretty predominantly in production. They just, update with the times a little bit. Quicker editing, updated figures, stuff like that. They don't necessarily rely on some of the things that people used to back in the day. However, they still stick with it because that's their aesthetic. If you like using string and making realistic Thomas sets and backgrounds, that's fine too. I really like the diversity of forms that we can have with this product in Wooden Railway. And the mere fact that they can all exist all together is all the more entertaining. So that's why I use my hands, to create an aesthetic that's unique in the community and harkens back to my childhood. And after doing it for 7 years, I hope to do it for at least another 7 more. This is Train King James signing off. If you'd like to see more editorial videos like this, feel free to share and comment this video. Give it support and we'll see what else I can come up with. Happy 7 years, everyone. This is Train King James signing off.